Hi, welcome to the Speaker Piece Podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton. This is an emergency podcast that I'm doing on Friday afternoon, November 5th. And I wanted to talk about the Aaron Rodgers situation for a bit. This upcoming week, we have 2 hockey podcasts scheduled. So I wouldn't necessarily have the time to talk about this for at least a week. But I did feel like this is an important thing that I should be talking about and that I should be discussing. And you guys get free content too. So that's great, giving the fans what they want. But Aaron Rodgers really had a lot to say. He went off today, not necessarily in a good way, as he was on the Pat McAfee show earlier today, Friday, and he had a lot to say. Looking at this thread here from Computer Cowboy at Ben Baldwin on Twitter, Rodgers says on the Pat McAfee show that he's, quote, in the crosshairs of the woke mob right now. I'm someone who's a critical thinker. Rodgers says he's worried about the possibility of vaccines causing sterility. Concerns about inhaling C20 during workouts while wearing a mask. What about my body, my choice? What about making the best decision for my circumstance? This idea that it's the pandemic of the unvaccinated, it's just a total lie. If the vaccine is so great, then how come people are still getting COVID and spreading COVID? I consulted a good friend of mine, Joe Rogan, and he's been doing a lot of the stuff I've been doing a lot of the stuff he recommended in his podcast. He said that he's taking ivermectin. Oh God. There's a lot. There's a lot that Rodgers said. And at the end of the interview, comparing himself to Martin Luther King Jr. So all that being said, all that said by Rodgers earlier today in a live interview, I don't think it's great. I don't think it's great for Rodgers. I don't think it's great for the NFL. I don't think it's great for the Packers. But I think there's a lot we can take away from this. And that's why I want to go and talk about this. That's why I want to get into it and talk about what Rodgers said, his actions, and where do we go from here? So let's start with Aaron Rodgers' perspective on this. So Rodgers, obviously, quarterback for the Packers. They are 7-1 right now, I believe, as I record this. They are heading into a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend in KC. Rodgers was already scheduled to miss this game on Sunday because he tested positive for COVID earlier in the week. And because he is unvaccinated, he will miss at least 10 days. So at least one game, that being the Chiefs game this weekend, and possibly next weekend against the Seattle Seahawks. Rodgers has put himself in a poor position as a football player because he is now unvaccinated. He's hurt his team's chances of winning. He's hurt his team's opportunity to win a Super Bowl. He has put himself personally, just not even as a football player, just as an individual, in a poor spot because he has decided that his body is more important than the Packers, which is not totally surprising because Rodgers has always put himself above the Packers. Not always. More recently, in the last 2 years, he has put himself above the Packers. He has thought himself greater than the team, and he is more important than his success is more important than the team's success. Little does he know that his success is the team's success. Or I shouldn't say little does he know. He knows it. He's just not taking advantage. I don't know how to say it. He's leveraging that. He would rather him winning is more important than the team winning, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's I think a lot of what this comes down to. It's making sure that Rodgers is better than anybody else, is doing better, is feeling better, is more successful than anybody else. Which it's quite it feels narcissistic. I would say quite worrisome because I would be questioning my relationship with Aaron Rodgers if I was his friend. If I was the general manager, if I was the head coach, it would definitely put my relationship with him at stake. I would certainly be questioning it. So Rodgers has put himself in this awkward position of putting himself above his team and putting himself above anybody, really, because it's all about him. He seems to feel no sympathy. In fact, he's the one who is being portrayed as the victim, which, I mean, people have died from COVID, but, God forbid that the, guy who's unvaccinated gets COVID. And, it's like it's like the hot dog meme from I Think You Should Leave, where it's just like, we're all trying to find the guy who did this. And it's actually Aaron Rodgers who's doing this to himself. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that Aaron Rodgers does not look great. He has done no favors to himself because now people look at him much different now compared to 24 hours ago, 36 hours ago, even after, like, it's one thing to be anti-vax, unvaccinated, and not playing. It's one thing to be that. It's another thing to be spouting, whatever, all this information, just spewing all this information on a Friday before your game and just have it make no sense. Like, now people are thinking about you. So, you use ivermectin. You're comparing yourself to Martin Luther King Jr. You talk about a woke mob. Like, now people think of you differently. You are now being put in a completely different light compared to yesterday, 2 days ago. And you've done yourself no favors there. From a team perspective, it's good, but it's bad. The Packers don't look great because now they look like they look like the team that is relying on this weird whatever dude to come and help them win a Super Bowl. And I don't know if you're the Packers, you can have Rodgers back on the field. You can't have him starting quarterback. I just think he's alienated too many people in that locker room to be a starting quarterback anymore for that team. I mean, are you like, would you want Aaron Rodgers starting for your team tomorrow? I wouldn't. Like, that dude has just gone completely off the deep end, and he's clearly put himself ahead of everybody else. Only he matters. And now he's just this dude who's thinking all these crazy, wild thoughts. And I just don't know how you can be confident in having him be a leader and an important figure in this team. I don't know how you can do it. It's just reminds me of like an Odell Beckham thing or Tony D'Angelo in hockey, where if I'm the team, I got to keep this guy away from the rest of the team, like the rest of the players, the rest of the locker room, because it's just causing too much of a disturbance to actually make it worthwhile for the rest of them. You got to think of the whole team in this situation compared to just one guy. Now, I know Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 quarterback in this league. He's a generational talent, special player. I get all of that. But if you're Matt LaFleur or Brian Gutekunst or whoever can make personnel decisions with the Packers, you have to look at this whole team, at the whole organization, and think what's better for the rest of the 52 men in that locker room? Is having Aaron Rodgers there greater for the team? Does it make this team better? Is it worth having this distraction? Because that's what Aaron Rodgers is now. He's been a distraction all week, especially on Friday. He has been a distraction, and you have to tell yourself if you think it's worth it to have Rodgers back in that locker room. I could not bring myself to do that. I just think that's a mess I'm not dealing with. I am shaking my hands clear of that. Not having it. I couldn't have it. The other problem with the Packers now is that it was pretty obvious before the season that this was going to be Aaron Rodgers' last year in Green Bay. Him and Devontae Adams were going to be having their Jordan Pippen 98 Bulls type run. Now, Rodgers, let me pull up his contract here because it's kind of relevant to what I'm trying to say here. I believe this is his last year. I think this is Rodgers' last year. Potential out after this year for Green Bay. Basically, if they release him before June 1st next year, they save $19.3 million, and they have a dead cap of 26.8 for next year. They might be okay with that. A trade that results in the same thing. They might be okay with that. But now you've lost, I think you've lost a lot of leverage here because I don't know what team's going to want to trade for him. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers can't be interested in having that guy in their locker room being their quarterback. They already got rid of Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown years ago. They were done with distractions. They were done with those kind of locker room problems. Now they're dealing with locker room problems like Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool's TikToks, which it's not even like you can say that's a problem. That's not even like on the same tier. That's not even in the same ballpark of problems. So I can't imagine Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh are going to want Aaron Rodgers in that locker room. Are the Broncos desperate enough to trade for Aaron Rodgers? Like, do you really want to, commit yourself to that in Denver? I don't see, I think that's a terrible look for the franchise. Other quarterback team, I don't know who else is really the Giants. I don't know who is I don't know who would be willing to take on Aaron Rodgers after this, because I don't think the Packers would. I'd be shocked if Aaron plays another game for the Green Bay Packers. For the rest of the league, I don't know who'd be willing to take this guy on. I can't see that. The Packers lose trade leverage wise, but they are, I think, now free to just let him go. He's done. We're not. Jordan Love can be the starter for the rest of the year, and it's justified. I am completely okay with Jordan Love being the starter for the rest of the year for the Packers. Totally understandable. Hell, they could be in the Cam Newton world, or they could get another quarterback. I'm just saying, Jordan Love, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't start for the Packers again this year, totally understandable. Wouldn't blame them one bit. From the league's perspective, they kind of fucked up earlier in the week by having Rodgers come out as anti-vax and lying to everybody for the last, 3 months? He's been last 2 months anyways. He's been lying to people. And now I'm not against what the NFL does. The NFL, if you're unvaccinated, your life is going to be a living hell. You're subject to more testing, wearing masks more often, not being in crowds. You can't go out on road games. I'm all for that. You can make the choice to be unvaccinated. Fair enough. But just understand there's going to be a lot of consequences, and you're going to have, hell to pay should you break those consequences. Well, it seems like Rodgers has been breaking these consequences since the start of the season. I just don't know, as a league, how you can let that slip by and how you can appropriately punish that if you have been failing to stop this and you knew this. Like, you should know this. Like, this shouldn't be oh, we didn't even know until this week. No, you should have known. You should know who's vaccinated and unvaccinated. That shouldn't be a question. Like, it's yes or no. It's a yes or no answer. There's no gray area. Now, Rodgers made it seem like a gray area by saying I'm immunized, but there shouldn't be a gray area. It's a yes or no question. It's not that hard. So the league already fucked up. I don't know where they go next. If they punish the Packers and Rodgers for violating league policy on unvaccinated players, I have no idea. I literally need to do my own research, but I need to go and check to see what sources are saying and seeing what the league insiders are saying, because I would think if something does come up from that, they might announce it by the end of this month at the very latest. And that's probably just a team fine, violation of draft, taking draft picks. Rodgers gonna get suspended, I would think, if this is a substantial issue, if this is a serious issue that has been broken like we thought. Now, with that being said, the league, I think, also loses some credibility because of both Rodgers violating what we think is COVID protocol. They also lose a little bit, I feel like, with Rodgers coming out and saying all of this. They will lose, I think, a portion of fans. And maybe with these fans, you're okay losing them if they're, the right wing, stick to sports, whatever. Like, those type of people, the people who are against the kneeling, all that sort of stuff. That if that's who you're losing, I think you're okay if you're the NFL, but you are going to be losing some of those people, especially in the Wisconsin Midwest region. I think you are going to be losing some of those people. It's a bit of a loss for the NFL revenue-wise, but it might be a positive for the league fan-wise, and trying to make it a more inclusive, a more positive culture within your league. That's what you're trying to promote. That's what you're trying to tell everybody. That's what you're embracing. So embrace it. Embrace, being inclusive and positive, but understanding that a vaccine is critical to the success of this league. And should you violate any of these protocols, you're going to have hell to pay. So the league will lose a little bit there. The Aaron Rodgers saga is not going anywhere. I just wanted to, at least today, get some stuff off my chest. There's nobody around to talk, nobody available to talk on Friday afternoon. So I thought I'd do this myself. And personally, I don't see how Rodgers plays for the Green Bay Packers again this season. I think the Packers are justified by starting Jordan Love for the rest of the season. They can move on from Rodgers and release him in the offseason and call it good. If somebody is actually willing to give you some, real assets for him, even better. I don't think you are. I mean, this is the NFL. After all, they'll sign some crazy people to play for your NFL team. But Rodgers is just a PR nightmare, and it's a distraction that I don't think any team should want. The Packers, again, justified in starting Jordan Love. They can move on from Rodgers in the offseason. Done. Goodbye. You don't have to worry about it. The league, they lost a bit of credibility here, but they have the chance to – the Packers and the league have the biggest opportunities to redeem themselves by doing the right thing. And that is starting Jordan Love and just getting rid of Rodgers for the Packers. And that is admitting failure on their part for the NFL and correcting their wrongs by punishing the Packers, punishing Rodgers, and, just get, doing the right thing. It's doing the right thing. I think it's quite obvious. It makes a lot of sense. It makes your league look better. It makes your league look smarter. And really, that is my just not initial. I've been contemplating about this for a few hours as I just got home now. But that's my upfront immediate takes that I wanted to share with you guys. We will probably do a football thing by the end of November. We'll do another one, I'm sure. And then this upcoming week, we have 2 hockey podcasts, including SYP creator Scott coming on later next week. So that should be really good. Be sure to tune in for both of those episodes. Thank you again for listening. This has been hopefully entertaining and interesting. I'll be back again next week. Thank you again for listening. It's greatly appreciated. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Be sure to like this video on YouTube. Be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. And be sure to check out our new episode coming out next Wednesday, I believe. New episode next Wednesday. Thank you again. Peace out.